Happy spring, my people. Today is the spring equinox. And so I just wanted to touch on that for a few minutes. I don't always celebrate every pagan holiday, but I was just feeling Ostara this year. I don't know if I had like a seasonal depression, but I have been so into the sun lately and just nature and walking, my meditative walks, because I don't like to use the word exercise. Anyway, so I just wanted to touch on Ostara and the spring equinox, which is today, tomorrow. And you can do this anytime in like the next week. I'm just going to give you a few tips to honor the goddess Ostara, to celebrate the spring equinox and Ostara, and just welcome in spring. So, if you're not feeling it, maybe this will help you be more joyful. But I don't know. I have felt so much joy and gratitude for today. So I just wanted to share it with you. I had to do a little video on my gratitude and this equinox, I don't know. It seems like, with COVID, it's been almost like a year, I think, since I know here in California, we went on lockdown and since the pandemic became really serious. And it seems like we're slightly waking up from that. The world's kind of opening up a little bit, I think. I mean, here it is. It's not completely open, but it's kind of opening, kind of like a flower. So I just thought it was so symbolic and symbolically connected to this like natural event, and this even if you don't want any pagan affiliations, you can call it the spring equinox. I call it Ostara, and it's also the zodiac new year when we're moving out of the 12th sign of Pisces into Aries. So I just wanted to give you guys a few tips to celebrate and some connections to make in your head regarding, I don't like that. Okay. Regarding that, this important time in our lives and in the year. So Ostara is the goddess of spring, or Eostra. You'll notice that the name and the word is very close to Easter, which the Christians assimilated this goddess and this holiday, and you'll see like other connections as I explain more. And so she's associated with the awakening of the earth. Flowers blooming, the green coming back on trees, the green leaves, the sun. The spring equinox is the time where light and dark is now balanced. We've been through long months of winter where, the earth shuts down and now it's opening up again. And the sun is the force now, and after today the light is going to be longer than the dark. And so today the equinox in Ostara is centered around this rebirth of the sun, this sun coming back, and like the goddess being in her power, in the fertility, in the abundance of the earth, right? There's this little story, because the egg and the hare are associated with Ostara and symbols of Ostara, just like the Easter bunny and the Easter egg. So there's a little story, and it has to do with, there was going to be a celebration for the goddess, and they were all going to bring gifts to the goddess Ostara. And all the animals were so excited, and the little hare, he was one of the poorest animals, and so he went home and he just looked and looked everywhere for a gift for his goddess Ostara, that he's beholden to. It's almost like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella, where the animals and like little birds and animals always like help them clean and shit. That's how I think of it. I kind of see them as Ostara. And so, he loved his goddess. And so he looked and looked, and all he found, because he was a poor little animal, was an egg. And so he took his egg, his beloved egg, and he went to the celebration, and he watched all the other animals give Ostara gifts of gold and silver. And at the end, he approached the goddess, and he gave her his gift of the egg, and she saw through to his purity of heart and his love for her, and she rejoiced at his gift, because the egg is the symbol of life. life and fertility and abundance. And so, like, since then, the hair has been associated with Ostara, and the egg, right? And so we decorate eggs in honor of Ostara. Also, there's an association between hairs that they're associated with the moon, and so now that there's the equinox, there's the balance of the sun and like the moon, supposedly, night and dark, night and day. That the hair is one of those symbols. So today I'm going to do a little ritual. I already did a ritual this morning, actually. One of the ways you can celebrate a Ostara is by greeting the dawn. And I actually got up at 6 a.m., which I don't do. Usually on weekends especially, I want to sleep till, say, like noon. You know what I mean? I want to get my sleep in. But I got up at 6. And I went down to the beach today and I took an eggshell and some rose petals and a little bit of candle wax from a previous ritual. And I sat down on the beach, on the sand, in front of the water, and I called on my god and goddesses and all my other deities that I call. And I made a little hole and I buried those gifts, those offerings into the sand. They're all natural, so you don't have to worry. It's not like trash. And I asked to have what no longer served me be taken from me, and I asked for fertility and abundance to be given back to me in return. And so I put my feet in the water, and as I was meditating on this request to have what no longer serves me removed from me, the wave came up and engulfed my feet, which it was very cold, very cold. And I just felt like this pulling of like heaviness out of me. And when the wave came back in, I just felt so joyful. And so in my feelings of gratitude for being able to do that this morning, and my joy at this spring equinox, this celebration of Ostara and spring, I just had to share that with you. And that's why I wanted to make this little video, just so even if it's just lighting a candle and saying a prayer or meditating on Ostara, or decorating an egg. There are various ways you can even do your own little rituals. And one of those is, which I'm going to do tonight, what I usually start with is I clean, which this is a perfect time, spring cleaning. I always think of it like, in olden days, it was like dark. And they didn't have like lights, right? So they had like candles. And the winter was especially dark. And so when the spring sun came back, that they could see all that dust and needed to clean. That's why spring cleaning. But also it's a time to declutter and remove anything that no longer serves us and discard all that, any negativity, toxicity, or anything, right? Like with every great change, there's a need to sacrifice and discard and then bring in the new, right? Because that's what we all just want to grow, right? And with the equinox, especially because it's balance of night and day, light and dark, there's also the balance of the masculine and feminine, of the inner and outer. And so what I've been thinking about is it's so similar to this whole process that humanity has been going through with COVID. Like it's been about a year since it's taken on very serious, a serious issue where they've locked down the world. And so we've been in this like limbo lockdown, wearing our masks, not sure, what's going to happen. And it seems like now the world is starting to open up a little bit, kind of like a flower. Like, people are getting vaccinations. Other people have been sick and are recovering or recovered. And here in California, the restaurants are opening again. Stores are opening. The world seems to be opening up a little more like a flower. And so like this is a perfect time to, I think, be thoughtful and reflective on what this last year has looked like for you. We've had to go inside. We've had to be alone with ourselves or with our close others, and I bet a lot of you have learned some things about yourself, you know, and have learned some things about yourself, and hopefully done some shadow work. If you don't know what that is, check on one of my other videos. There's actually two, and found new things out about yourself, like how you're dealing with this, if you're an introvert or extrovert, you know, how you've dealt with a slower version of life, how you've dealt with, you know, fear and changes, on a, you know, a whole earth population like situation, right? Like all of humanity. I think we've all grown, and I mean, I hope so, right? I know I did over this last year, and so like in reflecting on this last year and your inner growth, it's like now that like spring is here and the equinox is happening, you can like set intentions for, you know, what's to come now and this opening up, right? So I'm going to do a ritual. So I'm going to clean one, which is like clearing energy of my space around here. And I'm going to set up like my little altar, and you can use like pastels and flower colors. I mean, I have a really colorful apartment anyway, but I'm going to lay out my altar. And I'm going to probably have some pictures of some rabbits, like the hair, and some very colorful candles. And I bought some beautiful flowers this morning. And you can, one of your rituals that you can do, or actions you can take while doing this ritual, you know, after you set your sacred circle and light your candles, you can create an Ostara altar in a cup. So all you need is a cup, an egg, some moss and dirt, a candle, and either, you know, some type of flowers. So you take your cup, and as you're like meditating, you know, you want to get into a meditative state while you're creating this little altar cup. You take this like dirt first, and then you put the moss down, and then you have like the eggshell. You want to get rid of the egg. You probably want to save the egg or bake it or cook it and have it as an offering on your altar for during your ritual. Part of rituals is you have like some food that's offered to the goddess or to the gods or whoever, and so you can use that egg. And then with the eggshell, you want to clean the eggshell and then set it on the moss, and have like a little tea candle that you'll set onto the eggshell, and then I'm going to throw in some lavender and rose petals, and it's just like my own little blessed ritual, like altar space for Ostara within my larger Ostara ritual. So, you know, think about that and reflect on what you've gone through. Discard anything you need to get rid of. Clear the energy within your own spirit and also without in your larger space. And, you know, write out some intentions of what you want to bring in this new year. Also, it's the zodiac new year where we're moving out of Pisces into Aries, a whole new zodiac year. And so see what you want. Write out like some desires, some wishes. You can write them onto some little bay leaves and burn them, or you can throw them in your little altar in a cup. And I don't know, like, just lately I've been really loving the sun, which I've never been a sun worshiper, but I've been doing these walks, and especially the beach with the water, the sun, the ocean, and then the sand. It's just really grounded me and is clearing a space in me, and that I find it brings me more joy. So I want to share that joy with you, and I hope I did in this little video. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and share this video if you liked it or thought anyone else would, you know, benefit from it. And so happy equinox, happy spring, my people. Love you all. Bye.